My roommate said, "Did you hear about that guy from prison who just moved next to us?" I paused. "What guy?" "Oh, the guy from the mental facility. He just moved in next door." I didn't know what to say, but she joked, "Well, hopefully he won't murder us or anything." And we both laughed because what were the odds, right? But not even an hour later, someone started ringing our doorbell. Not just once, but started spamming the button. Kelly told me she'd get it while I watched from the hallway, and when she opened a door, a man stood there staring at her. "Hi, I cut my hand and need a band-aid," he said, holding up both hands. We both looked and saw there wasn't a single cut on his hands. Kelly told him she couldn't help, but that's when his whole demeanor shifted. He paused for a second and said, "Okay, well, do you mind if I measure something in your bedroom?" Kelly just shut the door and locked it, and he thankfully left us alone. But literally the next morning, I woke up to our doorbell going crazy again. I told Kelly that the band-aid man was back, and she went out to see what he wanted. She opened the door slightly with the chain still on, and the instant she did, he tried shoving it open, pushing his whole weight against it. The chain strained but held. Kelly tried shutting it, but he kept pushing, his face pressed into the gap. "Hey, I just need to use your bathroom," he said in this eerily calm voice while trying to force his way in. Kelly started screaming at him to stop, even slapped him across the face through the gap. He didn't react, just kept pushing and repeating his bathroom request like a broken record. She finally managed to slam it shut and told me to call the police. He tried to force his way in, and we were now in serious danger. But by the time they arrived 40 minutes later, he was gone. The officers told us they couldn't arrest him unless he committed a serious crime, but would talk to him. They told us to call if he came back, but didn't seem too concerned. However, that night around 2 a.m., I woke up to this rhythmic thumping sound. At first, I thought Kelly upstairs was shaking out a carpet or moving furniture, but then I sat up to listen. It was weird because why would Kelly be shaking a carpet at 2 in the morning? Then I realized it was coming from the living room. I peeked out into the hall and instantly felt my whole body tense up. It was our front door. I could see the band-aid man throwing his entire body against our door. He was trying to break the entire thing down, and I froze in place. I immediately dove for my phone on my bed and started calling the police, whispering that he was back and trying to break in. But then the sound suddenly stopped. Complete silence. It was weird for him to just leave like that. I started looking around, checking different windows to see where he went. Our porch light showed nothing. I moved to the side window and lifted the blinds to get a better view. And as soon as I pulled the blinds up, I screamed at the top of my lungs because his face was right there pressed against the glass, staring directly at me. I fell backwards, still screaming for Kelly to tell the police to hurry. He was staring at me before he just turned and walked back behind the wall. I hid behind the kitchen counter, shaking, but when I peeked over, he was gone. Kelly ran out from her room and we both stayed low, waiting for something to happen. The police dispatcher said units were on the way, but we knew from earlier they took forever. Then we heard footsteps on our porch again. He had something in his hands. We couldn't tell what it was until we heard a loud crack. We both jumped. He was hitting our door with something heavy. Bang! Through the peephole, we could see him clearly now, and my eyes went wide. He was holding an axe, swinging it into our back door. We screamed for the dispatcher that he had an axe, that he was breaking down our door right now. They said units were 2 minutes out, but the door wouldn't last that long. Kelly was sobbing. I couldn't move. He resumed swinging, making the hole bigger until the door finally gave way, and we were about to rush towards the living room to get away from him. He pushed his torso through first, axe still in his hand, eyes locked on us with this terrifying focus. "Don't move," he said. I screamed, "Get the F out of my house." I grabbed a knife to defend myself, holding it towards him. He was trying to push his way inside, finally getting through, and I was standing there crying. That's when the police cars screeched to a stop outside. "Police! Drop the weapon!" They were running up our stairs. He turned toward them, raising the axe. 3 officers rushed through our destroyed door and tackled him before he could swing. Even as they pinned him down, he kept trying to look at us. We survived, but packed everything that night and never went back.